Wow, that countdown just ended like an episode of Lost.
Oh, well, then it must have been on a cliffhanger or something super confusing.
Hey, we are glad to have you here. Welcome to True North. Everybody in the room, everybody say good evening.
Good evening.
Turn to the person to your left and right and say good evening.
Good evening.
If you turn to the left when they turn to the left, that was a fruitless greeting. But if you're joining us online, we want to welcome you as well and thank our tech team for making that happen. And Zach operating the camera. Good evening, Zach. Glad to see you. Zach's waving at everybody. We're glad to have you with us. In just a minute, we're going to have a 4-minute party. When we do that 4-minute party, that's going to be a time for everybody here to meet and greet one another. We have some 4-minute party hosts that are going to be greeting those of you online. Everybody else, find somebody to give a shout out to. But before we go any further, hey everybody, if I can get your attention and direct it right over there, Vicki Laws is back in the house, everybody. And we're glad to report she's taller. And doing well, recovering from double knee replacement surgery, only about 4 weeks out. Is it even 4 weeks yet? Five? 5 weeks out still. It's amazing. And she walked in my office the other day unassisted for the first time in a long time. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So we're very glad to have you back. And Alex and Hope and Jake, you all have done a tremendous job of keeping things going in her absence. We appreciate that. But we're going to have to find somebody to replace Isaac. Who are we going to get to replace Isaac?
The three-point master just walked in the room.
I would say Justin Turner, the three-point master, is in the house. Justin had a birthday this week. Oh, maybe he'll be up here.
Oh, maybe.
We got to wait till he's got to eat, and maybe he'll get up here for his birthday. And maybe I'll ask him some questions, and we'll see how that goes. You never know. My interviews up here have not gone so great lately.
Oh, Grant.
Actually,
Grant
I think
was
they've
awesome.
gone great. I just wasn't expecting them to go the way they went. That's probably a better way of saying it. All right, so we're glad that you're here. Hey, everybody, take your cell phone, mute it, turn it off so it won't be a distraction to you. That'd be fabulous. Good to see everybody here. And those of you that are watching at home, if you're watching, would you take a moment and scan the QR code for us so that we can know where you're watching and who you're watching with? Or you can text us and let us know, but we prefer you to send the QR code in. Make that happen. That would be great. All right. There we go. I need this. There we are. Hey, in just a moment, I've already met 3 visitors tonight, which is awesome. We're glad to have you with us. If we have not met you, we want to get a chance to meet you. We're not going to embarrass you, but in just a minute, we're going to have a 4-minute party. Blake, what does everybody have to do during the 4-minute party?
You've got to meet at least one guest.
You have to meet at least one person. It's not that difficult.
No, it's not that hard.
Are you going to meet somebody?
I'm doing my best.
Okay. We have folks online. We'd love for you to greet the people online. If you got somebody that's watching at home, go give them a shout out. That'd be fabulous. Everybody else, we want you to either meet somebody you don't know or meet somebody that you haven't seen in a while. There are at least 2 or 3 students here tonight that haven't been back in a long time and are here for the first time. We're glad to have you with us. And so, let's take just a moment, everybody,
to say Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody you meet.
That's right. And before we announce the 4-minute party, if you're one of our hosts, come on up here. We have these individuals. Has the election happened, Sam?
It didn't go well.
Okay.
Collusion.
Oh, the Russians. Okay. Okay. Well, that means the Lord has other things planned.
He didn't have treasurer planned. He had president planned of the United States.
Yeah.
Sam Chapman to the moon.
Yeah. There's something very exciting around the corner. We can't wait to see what it is. Cedric or Sam are up here, and they've got a Baskin-Robbins gift card for you if you're a guest and it's your first time. All you got to do is come up here and meet them. It's really easy. We're not going to embarrass you. We'll wait till we all stand up and do that. But we want to make sure. I've picked out 3 random students that I'm going to watch specifically to see. This sounds terrifying and creepy. I realize that. Cedric was so scared. that I'm just going to watch and see. It's a random sampling to see if you, in fact, meet somebody that you don't know. The thing is, I'm not going to know if you don't know them. How will I know? Yep, he did it. Yep, she did it. How am I going to know they don't know each other?
This is your
I'll
thing.
just make sure
know.
you're not greeting the people that you know. Why don't we just go ahead and have a 4-minute party and just
Yeah.
leave it at that? All right, everybody, let's stand up and let's have a 4-minute party. Go. I'm not sure if we have 4-minute party hosts tonight or not. I don't see where they are, but maybe they're on their way up here. But we'd love to have you join us in the filling station whenever you feel comfortable. But for the time being, we're glad to have you watching at home. And are you all the hosts? Oh, hey, the hosts are here. So I'm going to let them take over. But we're going to begin to conclude our Ecclesiastes series tonight. We might finish. Probably not a chance that we finish. Maybe. But we're going to let our hosts come up and greet everybody watching at home. We miss you all, and we hope to see you soon, and especially this summer. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Y'all take over.
Hi guys. We have some guests today. Right? Ella. Okay. So, as you said, this week we're going through Ecclesiastes.
This might be like the second to last Ecclesiastes lesson. In a few weeks we're heading to kids camp. Are you going to kids camp?
I'm not going to kids.
Oh, well, we're going to do this now.
I know.
If you're debating about going, I would definitely encourage you, especially if this is your first time. It's one of my favorite events of the year. And I'm really excited. So if you have a chance to go, I definitely would recommend it. So
Make sure you keep watching Sonora because we only have like 2 or 3 more until summer.
that sounds right.
So keep watching.
Oh yeah. Have a good time. See ya.
We're having a conversation up here. How many of you, in fact, did meet somebody you've never met before? All right, very good. Very good. Did it go well? All right, everybody got really quiet. Hey, so let's go ahead and move on. We have people that are getting older or are about to be older. It's time for our birthdays in the borough. Anybody got a birthday May the 2nd to May the 8th?
Justin
Come
Turner
on up,
does.
everybody. Come on up. Lots of May birthdays. All right, grab a microphone so we can talk to some of these folks for just a minute. Y'all come over this way just a little bit. Okay, very good. How old? How old?
16.
16.
18.
18. JT, how old are you?
17.
17. Emma, what is a big birthday plan? You have big birthday plans? What's the big birthday tradition in your house?
Oh, wow.
Does Cody get you something nice?
No.
Oh.
Well, my birthday is like this Saturday, so it hasn't happened yet.
So he still has time. Cody, you still have time. Chance, what is the thing that you want? What's a birthday wish? Nothing? Okay, my interview streak is still going really strong. Well, I have a feeling. I have a feeling the interview's about to take a turn. Just a hunch. It's just a hunch. Justin, so you're 17. What's the big news on your birthday? What is your family? You did something. I saw it on Facebook. What'd y'all do?
Well, we went to Ruby Tuesday because that's my favorite restaurant. Me and my soccer team usually do like a get-together at the soccer field to just kind of have fun there, you know.
So at Ruby Tuesday, what do you get at Ruby Tuesday?
Usually the chicken Alfredo and the salad bar.
Oh, very nice. Okay, it's good move. And did you get a cool, unique gift for your birthday?
Well, I got a Manchester United soccer ball that looks really cool that I picked out myself.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a surprise.
Huh?
It wasn't a surprise.
Well, it kind of was, because I wasn't sure if I'd get it because it was really expensive. It was
Okay.
really nice.
All right, very nice. So the video started making the rounds around your school. Is that right?
Yes, it actually did. So I showed one of my friends, and somehow it leaked out. Next thing you know, the whole school's seen it. So it's pretty cool.
And what was one of the best reactions that you got? I should not ask questions that, that I don't already know the answer to. I should stick with yes or no questions or safe questions. Was there a reaction that you got that amused you?
Well, it's a funny story. Somebody actually told me, like, I need to play basketball. But then I told them that the basketball coach told me, stick to soccer. So I was like, okay.
But did the basketball coach see the video?
Yeah, he saw the video, and he still said, stick to soccer. I was just like, okay.
All right, well, I now doubt the credibility of this basketball coach, which may mean that he's freed up. He's not going to have obligations.
Maybe we should cancel him. We can cancel the East Hickman basketball coach.
But let me know. He's not going to.
Facts.
He's not going to have a. I didn't even hear that. He's not going to have a school obligation, which means he might be freed up for other leagues, possible.
Oh. Hey,
Is that a chance?
come in the fall. We'll have
I know that is.
We'll have an open gym in August, so you can just come around and hang out.
All right. Hey, we're going to sing happy birthday to these folks. The way we sing happy birthday in the NBYG is with 3 simple words, and those words are, so happy birthday to all those folks. Now we want to remind you about Impact. We've said before that Impact is on June 21st, 22nd, 23rd. We are going to be going up and back each day. We're still working out the details of how that's going to happen. Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. But we're not going to be spending the night on campus. We're going to go up and back each day. We have room for, I guess, about 100 people or so, and we haven't quite hit that number yet. They've extended it until May the 10th. Today is May the 4th? 5th?
5th. Cinco de Mayo.
May the 5th. That's right. My watch is wrong because I think in April I didn't set the
That's the worst.
Yeah, I know. I got to fix that. But you have 5 days to sign up for Impact. Listen carefully. If you want to go to Impact, you have 5 days. After that, you won't be able likely to call and say, hey, I forgot to sign up. I want to go to Impact. We will probably have to say no unless Impact says, yes, there are still spots available. We're giving our spots back on May the 10th. Everybody got it? So go ahead and sign up for that. That happens actually after the next event, but we wanted to make sure you knew the deadline for that event is coming up very soon. We want to take a moment and talk about this. All right, Kids Camp is happening June 1st through the 5th in Lynchburg. And we talked about that a little bit. Some of you were there Sunday. We are going to show you this video again. We want to point out a couple of things that maybe you missed or maybe you didn't know. But our Kids Camp theme in Lynchburg, we were just up there this week.
We were Monday.
We went up there Monday, and we took some measurements, did some things, figured out how we're going to decorate. And there was a retreat going on up there, and we got to watch the Mennonites play kickball.
And softball.
And softball. Yeah. The Mennonites were playing kickball.
And I'm telling you, they were good softball players.
Yeah, they were not bad softball players.
It was very awesome.
Kickball, not so much, but they were very, very nice to us while we were there interfering with their event. Hey, so we want to show you the Kids Camp theme. Some of you have already seen this, but we want to tell you something fun about it after you watch it. It's not long. Check this out. So how many of you noticed a few Easter eggs, meaning hidden things in that locker? What are some things that you noticed? Let's get a couple over there. Ian, what'd you see? Yes, the Is It a Stick from the Wheel of Funny. Very good, Landon. Yep, the Good Morning Lynchburg coffee cup was in there. Nice, Isaac.
The schedule has FOB on it.
Yes, FOB is on the class schedule.
Well done, Isaac.
Garrison. A picture of Liliana is hanging up in the locker. Liliana Wape. Yes, Joey Doddington. I can't hear you. John 1010. Very good. Was a sticker in the locker. Jack. Yes, the eagle from the Olympic year. The eagle. There was an eagle banner from the Olympics. All right, Landon, you got another one? There was a stuffed meerkat, a taxidermied meerkat was in there. Anybody else? Yeah, I got one right over here. Yes, Carrie. Mr. Rogers? I don't think Mr. Rogers was in there. I mean, surprising to me that it wasn't. It should have been in there. There was a picture. There was a picture in the locker. There was a picture, and you'll be happy to know that that picture was Joe May's senior picture in high school.
From like 1946.
From like 1946 or something.
47.
You can go back and look at it. That was his high school picture in the locker. There was also a tile. Did anybody see a tile? One of the tiles was in there. The shirt from last year was in there. There's a couple of Easter eggs that people still haven't mentioned. There's three that I can think of. Yeah, four. Mike says there are four. There's actually maybe five. But there are four. You got one more. We got one more, Landon. There was a Space Unicorn sticker. All right, Isaac. There was an NBYG sweatshirt.
Good.
Neither of those were the ones I was thinking of, but you are right. You are right. There's some more. So go back and watch it. Yes, Emily, you got one more? There was a lunchbox. There was from my lunchbox collection. It's a Marvel Heroes lunchbox. Yeah. There's a couple more Easter eggs that those of you that have been in the NBYG a while, you can enjoy. We're going to let you go and look it up. And guess what? If you are going to camp and you watch it, not during True North, but after True North. So if you're watching it now, Chance, are y'all watching it now? He was very honest. Yep. Yes, we are watching it right now. It's like the teacher going, anybody cheating back there? Me. I would be cheating off of him. So anybody except these two guys. If you watch it after True North, you come up and let one of us know. And it's one of there's two. There's two specific we're going for. I think you know which ones I'm going for.
Yeah.
On the pen.
Oh, I know.
Okay. I'll tell you later.
No, I know. I know which ones they are.
Okay, good. We'll give you 10 NBYG bucks that can be applied towards maybe camp or impact or whatever. 10 NBYG bucks to the person who comes in spots. You can't give us both of them. You can only give us one. So one or the other. All right, there you go. Don't watch it, though, during True North. So camp, we do have a few more spots for camp. If you're interested, talk to us and we'll tell you how you can sign up. Some of you are in the room that we're still waiting to sign up, so go ahead and take care of that as quickly as you possibly can. Okay. Well, yeah, not currently in the NBYG, but we do have a winner.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Make sure you tell nobody else. But there you go. Good eye. Okay, let's move on. It's time now for the picks of the week. Here we go. This is your picture of the week. There's one picture of the week. It's your class of 2021. Everybody, let's give them a woo! We had Senior Sunday on this past Sunday. We had a lot of our seniors that were able to participate. Some participated online. About 51 seniors were in our booklet. We're in the senior booklet. And if you want a copy or want to look through one of those, we'll try to have some of those available here next week. If you're a senior and you were not here Sunday, we have some goodies for you. I've already given out a couple of sets of those tonight. But one thing that we did not do Sunday night because of time is every year we ask the seniors, if they want to, we don't require it, to leave you two items. One, a will and testament, which is basically something that you just are going to leave and pass down to somebody else who comes after you. Or we ask them to give a class prophecy. You want to explain what a class prophecy is?
It's essentially saying this is what somebody or who somebody may become.
Yeah, this is something they predict about the future. Now, we think we have most of them. If we don't have it in here, it's because you either didn't get it to us or you gave it to us in a form that was not what we expected. And so we're going to read a few of these. Some of these folks are not here tonight, but we're going to try to cover some of these. We didn't do it at the senior night because we realized every other year a lot of you are mentioned in this and you're not at senior night. So we're going to take turns reading some of these, and we have our first will and testament is from whom?
Spencer Bowen. Will and testament. He is leaving his number 23 jersey and spot on the Acafellas to and spot on Acapela's announcements
Oh, nice.
to William McKissick.
That means those announcements are just going to get a real boost of energy from
For sure. A lot-
Spencer to William. It's going to.
It's going to be level every week.
What else?
He's also leaving his lab coat and role as kids camp scientist to Caden Stallsworth.
Okay.
And the ownership of the Bow Boys Group Me to David Skidmore because I do not trust anyone else with it.
Okay. All right. Very good. We have right here the will and testament of Garrison Brothers. Garrison says he leaves. I leave the randomly showing up in full cowboy gear to youth events to Caden Stallsworth. And then, most likely to become a world-renowned doctor, Henry Wolf. Most likely to become the next Bob Ross, Sam Chapin. Most likely to become a makeup mogul, Kalen Wiley. Most likely to become the next David Skidmore or Blake Boggs, Spencer Bowen. I thought, first of all, he was leaving that to you, but it's to both of us.
Yeah.
Spencer's going to be the next both of us.
Interesting.
Wow, watch out. If you're around Spencer, it could get crazy.
Two people at once.
Most likely to create a lawn care empire. Yes, Wesley Sandlin. He spelled it wrong. Spelled every letter of the last name wrong.
Oh, except for the last two.
Yes, he did get the last two right. Yeah. Most likely to become a New York Times best-selling author, Cody Benzinger. Congratulations, Cody. Most likely to become the Tennessee Titans or Atlanta Hawks team doctor, Jack Parmer. Most likely to build million-dollar houses for a living, Elijah Reitz. And most likely to become the next Joker, Samuel Waldron. Most likely to star on his own show on Animal Planet, Chance Little. All right, very good. Let's go.
All right, will and testament of Scarlett Elizabeth Spencer Davis.
Fancy.
Yeah, 4 names. Getting your dollar's worth. Okay, I leave the duty and responsibility.
D-U-T-Y.
Yeah, sorry. The duty and responsibility of sharing the rom-com cinematic masterpieces such as Little Women, You've Got Mail, and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days to Cedric Orantes and Lizzie Boggs. Most likely to be the stars of the next Muppet movie goes to Helen Strickland and Sarah Sullivan. And I predict that Kate Chapin, Ashley Davis, and Harper Guthrie will one day be all-time world champions at Anomia. Oh.
Okay. All right. Isaac Harrison. I don't know that I proofread this.
I did. So there's a couple red flags, but just avoid them or read through them.
Well, will and testament. To Sam Chapin and Knox Rosser, I leave absolutely nothing. If they gain much more power, none of us will ever be able to stop them. To Luke Shirley, I leave the continued tradition of driving someone 2 years younger than you home after as many events as possible. I leave my surprisingly good music taste to Chandler Maples. I leave a love of old Japanese cars to Cooper Grubbs. And to all the taco fellas, I leave a packet of every Taco Bell hot sauce with no water between each of them. To Alex Land, I leave a very poorly made catapult.
Oh, I remember that moment. It was rough.
And okay, well, in honor of Brent Eldridge, to all the junior girls, I leave my phone number. To literally anyone willing to take it, please, for the love of all things good and holy on this earth, literally anyone at all, I leave the bass part on the praise team. Okay, very good.
Everybody thought it was his phone number.
Oh, everybody had their phones out, ready to go? Oh, they thought they were still, that was still, oh, I got
He
it.
was like,
I got it.
anyone to take it. My phone number. Oh, you guys, well played.
I inadvertently made that better than it even was. All right, prophecies. New category, new line, indent, space. Most likely to direct a movie that will overcome Avatar as the highest grossing movie of all time. I guess that would have been the guys that did Endgame, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They've already done that.
Yeah, but I think it jumped back over.
Oh, Avatar came back. Well, see, I'm not hip. I don't know all of that. Cody Benzinger. So you'll write it, then a book about it, then you'll produce a movie. You're going to be famous. Most likely to make a map, Molly Spate. I almost said most likely to take a nap. I don't know why. Most likely to be funny, Henry Wolf. Okay.
He said,
I'm sorry. I'm inadvertently messing all this up. Least likely to be funny, Henry, sorry. Most likely to have a beard, Elijah Reitz and Seth Countess. Most likely to make everyone fall in love with him in a split second, Adam McCrary. Most likely to say screenshot instead of picture for the rest of his life, James David Skidmore. Oh yeah, I can read that one. Sorry, I got when Blake edits them and puts a mark beside it, like let's just make sure we read this. Most likely to leave a big tip to flirt with a girl and then break his rearview mirror leaving the Sonic parking lot. Most likely to or most likely did? Spencer Bowen. Okay, there you go. All right, that was it. I'm sorry.
all right, Julia Jenkins, Will and Testament. To Kate Toombs, I leave the honor and responsibility of being the caretaker and holder of the Girls Retreat MASH Journal.
Yeah.
All the girls oohed and awed. I have no clue.
MASH. You've never done the MASH game?
No, who knows? I thought it was a TV show.
Well, it is. I have 3 daughters, so it's a lot of MASH games going on at the house. Keep going.
Well, apparently everybody just got broken. To Helen Strickland and Sarah Sullivan, I leave the duty and privilege of sharing, is this Bibble? Is that right? Bibble and the Barbie movies with the MBY girls and youth group. Bibble and Barbie.
Most
Julia
likely
Jenkins.
to say duty so many times at True North.
I didn't say.
Blake Boggs.
Well, see, guys wouldn't have wrote all
Okay,
that.
Chance Little. Chance Little leaves the following items. Oh, wrong page. He leaves. Okay. To Mac Turner, Caleb Brister, and Kennedy Quarles, I leave the I need the Lord to help me spot at the fall retreat. Okay, there we go. Oh, is that it? Okay, all right, very good. That was good. Good chance. Well played. I like it.
Aubrey McCamey leaves this. He just says, don't be afraid to be more enthusiastic than you need to be.
Okay.
And then his class prophecy is, Mike Jones will never update his tag playlist for the life of the iPod, at least. Aubrey McCamey.
Let's see. Halle Perry. Halle Perry leaves the following items. I leave my contagious laugh to Ava Boyle. I leave my positive personality to Ella Grace Palmer to make her more positive, even more positive than she already is. I leave my spot in a predominantly boys' friend group to Miley Smith. And I leave my Perry competitive gene to Addison Sane. All right, very good. Next.
Kendall Sane, her will and testament, she is leaving her spot on the wheel of funny to Addison Sane. Her class prophecies go as such: most likely to make Skid retire the class of 2040. Most likely to come back as interns, Ian Qualls and Ella Grace Palmer. Most likely to push Amy Sane out of a chair in musical Chairs of Death, Addison Sane. And most likely to be the next David Young, Tucker Stevens.
Okay. We got out of order in alphabet because I forgot that Jack Palmer did not send one of these, but he texted me his answers. I said, you haven't sent me anything, and he said, I have nothing to give. And then he wrote, I predict that Skid will be doing this for another 20 years. And I just sent a GIF reply. A good GIF. That way I can irritate everybody. And then he said, I meant that to be a compliment. And then he said, What did you want me to say? You're most likely to move to Malibu to work at Pepperdine and create some of the world's worst dad jokes? And then he replied, can I get an oh yeah? All right, there you go. Next.
Caroline Smith, her class prophecy goes as such: most likely to build the ark, Elijah Reitz. The next ark, sorry. The most likely to become TikTok famous, Isaac Harrison. Most likely to offer me free Chick-fil-A after I wreck in their parking lot, Caitlin Williams. That's a story I want to hear. Most likely to lose against me in volleyball, everyone. Wow. Some confidence. Most likely to become the next Skid, Spencer Bowen. Most likely to become a best-selling author, Cody Benzinger. Most likely to save a life, Leah Terry. Most likely to become famous on accident, Chancellor Little. Most likely to become famous on purpose, Brady Bryson. And most likely to marry for money, Delaney Smith.
Wesley Sandlin, a man of many words. Most likely to build his own house, Elijah Reitz. That was it. And that's it from Wesley Sandlin. All right, let's keep going.
From Molly Spate, she is leaving the trait of getting. Oh, we're gonna have to email these in next year. Oh, the trait of getting incredibly impatient for the Pisagi game to end just so I can lose once again to Haley Derryberry. And then she leaves her 4-minute party spot to Lila Mae Skidmore.
Okay, and then Jacob Henry Wolf, who apparently turned in a thesis. Oh, okay. Do we start here? That's like number 7?
That's what he's leaving.
Oh,
And then the class prophecy.
okay. Well, I'll save that for the end.
Okay. And then
Nice.
it's over.
Oh, it's over. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Right, no, that's too far.
No, yeah, right here.
Yeah, right there.
We're like Abbott and Costello all of a sudden. Most likely to hurt themselves from making a TikTok, Isaac Harrison. Most likely to get canceled for building a deck, Elijah Reitz. Why are people... Is that again? Most likely to break my face, Jackson Good. Most likely to be happy when their dog dies, Samuel Waldron. Sad. The Will and Testament. To Spencer Bowen, I leave my DVD of the movie Turbo. To Caden Stallsworth, I leave my chemistry textbook so you can finally figure out that rice doesn't actually explode when you heat it. To Jake Grubbs, I leave your old Auburn shirt. I figure it's probably time to give it back. To Cedric Arantes, I leave Charlie. Feel free to come and pick him up anytime, please. To Michael Bowen, I leave a brain. To Samuel Waldron, I leave a heart. Wow. And might as well end on this one. And to the NBYG, I leave courage. Courage to persevere through any challenge you might ever face. There you go. That's what they leave you guys. Good job, everybody. One more. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, we got Samuel Waldron's. We should have ended on a high note.
Yeah. Oops.
With Henry's, but let's go.
So Samuel leaves to Ezra Rosser his Stones River Manor prayer. And then class prophecy, most likely to not be a youth minister, Spencer. Most likely to go to Florida, Henry Wolf. And most likely to tell people his age, David Skidmore.
Yeah.
And to the MUIG, I leave courage. Courage to persevere through any challenge you might ever face.
There we go. End on a high note. All right, everybody. There is your class prophecy and will and testament. Nice job. Woo. It was definitely better to do those in here with everybody present than in a room where it's only grandparents that don't get any of the references.
Yeah. Inside jokes.
Kind of like me. I'm slowly becoming one of those people that don't get any of the references, but it's okay. It's okay. Well, there we go. Seniors, we know that many of your graduations are actually happening starting this weekend and in the next few days, and we are thankful that you have been a part of this group and leading and energizing. We look forward to a summer of being able to do some of the things that we enjoy doing, and we're glad to honor you on Sunday and continue to be thankful for your presence in here. We're going to transition now and spend a few moments in worship. Those that are going to help us sing, if you all would come on up here, including our bass singer. Oh, you're right. Thank you. Come on up. Thanks for that. Before we do that, though, we do want to, while we're on the topic of our seniors, I don't think Ben's here tonight, is he? Is Ben watching at home? Ben, Todd, if you're watching at home, would you text me right now and let us know that you're watching at home? We're going to show a video, a very short clip that we showed at Senior Sunday that we ran across by accident on my computer that was saved from years ago. They were all sixth graders at camp. And we did a special activity together, the classic intern-led roller coaster crowd reaction. The whole video is great. But if you can spot Ben Todd, who I think is at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen.
He's in a blue shirt, I think. Blue or purple.
Ben is having the time of his life.
Yeah, honestly, I want to ride the roller coaster that Ben Todd is on.
Yeah. I don't know what roller coaster Ben was on, but man.
I think that year they served energy drinks in the canteen.
Yeah, it's like I've never quite seen Ben like that. So let's take a moment and watch this. There's Ben, bottom right. Samuel Waldron's having fun. Isaac, of course. And Ben Todd. All right, good job. So there are our seniors. Now we're going to transition a bit. We're going to sing a few songs. Thank you, seniors, for sharing all of those legacies with us. We hope that we can be faithful stewards of those things that you have bequeathed onto us to share and use. We're going to ask the following. We have a couple of songs that we're going to sing, and it's the first Wednesday night of the month. And so for the first couple of songs, we have our prayer sheets up here. Sharon Thornhill, and I think some other individuals are praying tonight, but I know she's here in that room. So during the first couple of songs, if you would like to come up and write a prayer request, it can be anonymous. You can be an adult. You can be a visitor. Anybody, you can put your name on it, whatever you want to do. Fill that out and send that through those doors, underneath that door, and she's going to be praying for all of those things tonight and for every other night until True North ends at the end of May. So this is your last chance this semester to do that. So some of you probably have some things on your heart. We'll leave the lights up for just a few of those songs while we do that, and we're going to ask everybody to stand up. Go ahead and stand, and when you want to, just anybody else can lead the way during these first couple of songs and can write down your prayer request and put that under the door, okay? We'll leave the lights up front for just a moment while you do that. I also forgot to mention this. We're going to, these are our EEM goal of trying to raise $1,250 for 1,000 Bibles. Some of you we know have money. Some of you brought it tonight. If you did, as soon as you're done, if you'll bring it up to us, that would be great. Or if you're worried about forgetting it, you can put it on the table during before we worship. But right now, we're glad to know that we've actually achieved this goal. We want to continue, though. Some of you still have creative ways. Right now, we sit at $1,412. So nice job. You all have met that goal. I know of two other youth groups that are working towards that goal as well, at least two others that have let me know. Others from the April the 22nd event are continuing to do that. So if you have money, even if it's $3 or $4, those of you that have come up with some creative ways, we're still going to try to make a time to go and film some of you doing these things. We're looking forward to seeing if we can raise even more money. The EEM drive goes all the way through the end of June. But we are going to officially end it at the end of May, turn in our check to them. All the money you give now on Sunday mornings is going back to Liliana. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. If you got it all, say got it. All right, now we're ready to worship. Now we're ready for you to fill out the prayer request. Please, let's get as many as you want to slide them under that door as we sing together. Hide me away, O Lord. Hide me away, O Lord. In the day of trouble, beneath the shadow of your wings. Hide me away, O Lord. And give me your peace, O Lord. Give me your peace, O Lord. In the day of trouble, beneath the shadow of your wings. Give me your peace, O Lord. Safe in your dwelling place. I'll be safe in your dwelling place. In the day of trouble, beneath the shadow of your wings. Safe in your dwelling place. So hide me away, O Lord. Hide me away, O Lord. In the day of trouble, beneath the shadow of your wings. Hide me away, O Lord. So hide me away, O Lord. 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 Hide me away, O 88. I stand to praise you, but I fall on my knees. My spirit is willing, but my flesh is so weak. Like fire in my soul, and flame make me whole. And Lord, you know just where I've been. So like fire in my heart again, I feel your arms around me as the power of your healing begins. Your spirit moves right through me like a mighty rushing wind, like fire in my soul, and flame make me whole. And Lord, you know where I've been, so like fire in my heart again, like fire in my soul, and flame make me whole. And Lord, you know just where I've been, so like fire in my heart again. Lord, like fire in my heart again. Over all the earth you reign on high, every mountain stream, every sunset shine. But my one request, oh Lord, my only aim, is that you reign in me again. Lord, reign in me, reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again, over every thought, over every word. May my life reflect the beauty of my Lord, 'cause you mean more to me than any earthly thing. So won't you reign in me again, Lord, reign in me, reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again, Lord, reign in me, reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again? And the church said, all right. We want to welcome everybody. We're going to hopefully begin to land our plane on a really long series that I know we've done. We've spent a lot of time in the book of Ecclesiastes. And, I mean, in case you haven't noticed, I'm never in a real hurry for us to finish a series as long as I feel like God is continuing to speak into what we need to know and learn. And my prayer is that something in this series has helped you, one, rethink the past year that we've been in quarantine, been in a pandemic, been through a lot of shutdowns and lockdowns and isolation. It might have been a mistake to jump right in to a book of Ecclesiastes coming out of the pandemic, when people were already dealing with a high level of anxiety and depression, to go to one of the books that might be, on the surface, the most depressing book in all of Scripture. But I really felt like that God was saying, this is a book that I want to walk our students through. The prayer requests from the last month, Sharon shared that there's just a lot of people that mention heightened and increased anxiety and depression. So one, you need to know that you're not alone. I don't say that to comfort all of us, but to let us know that it's true for all of us. whether you're sitting in those seats or whether you're sitting up here, standing up here, or whether you're sitting back there. That we're all dealing with a heightened sense of how do we make sense of this? I want to find that this is kind of like that way to go into it, and then I want us to begin to land the plane from Ecclesiastes 11 and 12. If you're ready to dive in and really kind of we're going to have some fun tonight first, but if you're really ready to get serious, just say, I'm ready. If you're not ready, that's fine. But there's this word, pareidolia. Pareidolia. Does anybody raise your hand if you've ever heard of this word, and you say, I think I know what pareidolia means? It's a word that's difficult to pronounce. Even in the way you see this graphic, it's given a little bit of a hint. Let me show you an example, but first we'll get one guess. Chandler, you got one guess? Oh, wow, we do. We have a winner. Nice job. Did you get that from the picture or just you remember it? Okay, all right. You've heard the word before. Very nice. Chandler Maples. If you didn't hear him, I'll show you an example of pareidolia. Pareidolia is when you see faces in objects, but not just faces. Most commonly it's used to faces. But pareidolia is really this word right here. The instinct to seek familiar forms in disordered images like clouds or constellations, the perception of random stimulus as significant. Does that make sense, everybody? It is the instinct to seek familiar forms in disordered images. Oftentimes you see it I'll go back to that picture. What do we call this right here? Somebody know what this is called? It is a nebula, but it's most commonly referred to as the Horsehead Nebula because it looks like a seahorse to me, but it looks like a horse head. Pareidolia, this word para, comes from two words. Para, meaning around or about or instead of. You talk about like Young Life is a para-church organization. It's not really the church. It's not really necessarily replacing the church, but it's like something off alongside the church. FCA is a para-church organization, right? This word para, this root word para. And then eidolion, which is a word that means image, or often means image. So I'm not trying to give us a big, huge etymology or language arts lesson, but I just want you to know it's a word that means like this image instead of an image, one thing instead of another. And Chandler kind of hit it. It's really this tendency to see objects in other objects. This is an actual unphotoshopped picture of a cloud that looks just like a feather. It's pretty astounding when you see it. Some of you have seen clouds that look like this. You can find all kinds of images, and most people would see that and know that it looks like a dog chasing something, or this image, which I researched and was told was not a photoshopped image. You'll probably find a fair amount of photoshopped images, but most of you probably laid down on the ground, right, and looked up at the clouds and have done this, right? And you said, oh, look over there. I only remember, I don't know why I remember some of the strangest things. I don't remember a lot of things, but I remember a friend and I don't even remember who the friend was, but I remember distinctly we were in my yard, in the front yard, in the grass, looking up, and I saw the image. He saw it as well. I was like, look over there. And I said, that's Wile E. Coyote from Roadrunner and Coyote. And it looked just like Wile E. Coyote. It was unbelievable. The whole silhouette looked like Wile E. Coyote. I don't know why I remember that. But that's what we're talking about when we talk about pareidolia. I've got a couple of other images. One, because I think pictures are kind of fun. It kind of primes the pump and makes the larger point that I'm about to make. This is one you see the lizard on the side of the mountain there made in the snow. Or this picture here that looks like the picture of a forest, but most of you already realize this is just the picture of the inside of an eyeball. This is frozen water in a container, but it looks like a human eyeball. We often see pareidolia in foods. This looks like a flamingos popping out of a pepper, or this is a squash that when you look at it appears to be a duck. Here's some seahorse bacon. That sounds appetizing. This is adorable. These two carrots love each other. This is some sort of cauliflower that some specific breed or type of cauliflower that looks like a massive explosion. Here is a muffin that I will not be eating or partaking of. This is some toothpaste that looks like it's clinging on, saying, please, don't brush your teeth with me. Here's a mattress that looks like an ice cream sandwich. This, at first glance, looks like a mountain lion. It's a bobcat. on a table, but it's not. It's a plastic bag. Blake would like this picture. These are anteaters walking across the sidewalk, but it looks like a whole herd of brontosauri, baby brontosauri. I don't know if that's how you say it. Maybe it's brontosauruses. I don't know. Crossing the road. Now, most of us have probably seen, faces in objects like this chair that's very happy that it's snowing outside, or this is afraid about being hammered with an eye. Look at the pot. Check out the face of the oven in the pot. It's a very happy little cooking pot. Not so happy, this tub is very startled. It's been flipped over upside down. This suitcase is very sad to have been left on the front porch, on the stoop of the steps. I don't know, this purse just looks kind of giddy that he's hanging there. This is just like some kind of guy, maybe a former president or something sitting there in the outside. Here is, watch out, he's going to get you. This is one of my favorites. Yeah, go down the row with Cookie Monster. This dog is a little creeped out that he sees himself in the wood of the floor. A lot of times people see pareidolia in trees. It looks like this tree is very excited that this kid is hugging the tree. This is a tree that has said, I'm out of here, and is walking across the road. Or here's a cactus. It's like, I'm getting out of here, trying to scale the wall. Or you see trees like that. It's pretty scary. Now we're getting into some frightening ones. This is a very angry mop. Stay away from this mop. Ooh, yikes. I don't even know what that is, but it's the Iceman outside your door, so be careful. This is an actual picture. I'm told it's not photoshopped. It looks like a very angry demonic elephant coming through the explosion, about to attack everyone. And then you've got this one, which is bird poop on your windshield that looks like a bird. That's very meta right there. That's about as meta as it gets. And then a couple of my favorites. This vase has had enough of your nonsense. I like that. And then, of course, there's this church that looks just like a chicken. And then finally, we all literally feel like this chair. It's when you take something that is random and you assign some other significance. You see an object in another object, but specifically, it's this instinct to seek familiar forms in disordered images. A cloud is something random. It doesn't have really a purpose or an intention, but you look at it and you're able to make something out of it, right? Everybody with me on this word pareidolia? This word para, something that is near or around. And then you have this word idolion, which is an image, kind of where we get our word idol, but just some sort of image, right? Solomon in Ecclesiastes is doing this. He's taking everything around you that is meaningless, and he's trying to give it some purpose. He's like saying, look at that cloud, and you see a cloud, and he says, but don't you see the dog that is chasing another animal? Don't you see a stallion emerging out of that cloud? And, it's not really a dog or really a stallion, but you look and you take something meaningless or random, and you begin to give it a sense of purpose. It's a word that I ran across months ago, and I just kind of filed it away in a folder on my desktop, and I thought, pareidolia. I even had to look up how to pronounce it. Even after reading the pronunciation in the dictionary, I was like, I don't even really know. I'm still confused as to how to say this word. And then I watched a couple of things on it. I talked to some people, some psychology professors, who basically said this. They said, your brain is wired in such a way, I would use the language that we are hardwired by a creator, to be able to look at somebody, and when I look at Wesley, I have, if I am mentally in a normal state, I can look at Wesley and have some idea of whether or not Wesley is mad at me or confused by what I'm saying or happy to see me or sad or distracted. I might be wrong. I might get it off. But most of us are able to look at somebody else and be able to begin to read their face. And our brain is just wired to do that. One, because we've got to make sense of this interaction. Here I am with Wesley, and I've got to know if it's not going well, I got to know what to change. If it's going poorly, I need to know that I need to say something positive. Or I just need to recognize that there's something going on in his face that lets me know what's going on with him. And psychologists would say that when we see things that maybe don't make as much sense, our brain is trying to sort it out, and so it kicks in that part of our brain that causes us to read faces. That might be too much of an explanation. I don't know. I do know that there was a friend of mine, one of my very best friends growing up, who's no longer alive. his older sister, who is also no longer alive, was hit by a drunk driver when we were in high school. And she was in a coma for about 3.5 months. It's a long time. And I know that her parents were devastated. And when she came out of this coma, she was able to talk and remembered everybody. But as I've told you her story before, I've talked about her often, not because I want you to get tired of hearing about it, because I think there's different facets of the story that are worth telling. She had lost the part of her brain, it had been damaged, that read emotion or even felt emotion. So she would know something was funny but wouldn't laugh. She'd see something that was sad but wouldn't cry. She couldn't really tell if you were confused or afraid or angry or sad. She couldn't look at a person that was angry and know they were angry. Anybody else could say, that person is angry, and she would say, what do you mean? Or, hey, that person doesn't like what you're saying. How do you know? And just that part of the brain was damaged. It was a remarkable injury. She continued to live, but a part of her had died. And I've told you before, again, I've made lots of mistakes in my life and done lots of things that I'm not proud of. But the biggest reason that I've made it to this point in life and have never had a drop of alcohol is because it terrified me to know what somebody did to my friend's sister because they were more concerned with making themselves feel good. I'm not making a statement on somebody that is old enough, drinking alcohol. That's not my point. If you want to talk to me more directly about it and say, hey, can we talk about this? I'll be glad to talk with you about it. But it's a choice that I made, not one to hold anybody else. I certainly, would have a problem with somebody drinking to excess, but it's a decision that I made because I just thought if I do something that allows me to feel good, I may continue doing it and I may not stop doing it, and I don't want to cause to anybody what happened to my friend. I don't say that to make you feel bad or to scare you or to try to guilt you. That's not my point at all. I'm just saying that as I try to make sense of a random, sometimes meaningless world, that's a decision I made. It's not the purpose of our text or Ecclesiastes, but a side note. Because Solomon is saying there's so much in the world that is random. And he says, I'm going to try to make sense out of it. Last week, I won't rehash the entire analogy, but we talked about this pile of Legos. And if you have an entire pile of Legos, and yet you buy a Lego set, and you know that this is what you want to make, and you open up the bag, and it looks like this, and if you don't have the box or the instructions, you're never going to get this from those bags of Legos. Only those pieces make this, and only this thing uses those pieces. No other, no more, no less. But if I don't have the instructions, I'm never going to end up with that thing. So do not be surprised. Nobody should be surprised. Whether you're your age or my age or your parents' age or your younger siblings' age, nobody should be surprised when you don't live and study and read and meditate and pray and chew on and discuss and not just listen on a Wednesday night to somebody prattle on about it or on a Sunday morning to listen to somebody talk about it. But if you don't spend time with the instructions, do not be surprised when you end up with something that looks very different than the thing that's on the box that you thought you were getting. Does that make sense? Now, does that mean that if you follow all the instructions and you do everything that it says, that your life is going to turn out and look like the perfect Lego thing and there's not going to be any flaws? That is not what I'm saying. But I am saying that when you read the instructions and something happens that is not supposed to happen, you're going to be much better equipped to get through it. And I could go right now without, I don't want to embarrass anybody, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I could point to some of you in the room that are heroes of mine, and I've told you this privately. There are some people sitting in these seats and some people sitting back there that are heroes of mine because you have lived a life that's honored God, and the Lego doesn't quite look like it's supposed to on everybody else's box, but you said, I've spent some time in the instructions to know that really the box is, what I'm living right now under the sun, it's never supposed to look like what's on the box. If I get that, that's great. But one day, if I do this, I know that I'm going to get what I paid for. Does that make sense? It's a pretty important point that I don't know that I'm articulating very carefully, but one of the points that we looked at last week is that God made a good world, and it is foolishness of the highest order to be blind to its goodness. If you remember a point that we made last week that I think is really important, whether you're in 7th grade or 12th grade, anywhere in between, the point of Ecclesiastes is to enjoy life. Yes, it's fleeting, and it's going fast. Let me just ask somebody on this side that has a roller coaster that you really enjoy. Somebody, just raise a hand if you have a roller coaster that you like really, okay, you're a roller coaster guy, Cody. What's a roller coaster that you really like? Okay, the what? The Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point. How long of a roller coaster ride is that, Cody? Okay, that one's only about 15 seconds, all right? My analogy or my illustration would still work, but can you give me another one that might be... Okay, the Millennium Force, 5 minutes. All right. 5 minutes. Is 5 minutes a long time? Is 5 minutes a long time? If you're on a roller coaster, yeah, you're like perspective. It's long. But really, 5 minutes is not a long time. Today, like right now, today, 5 minutes of your day to day was not a long time. Now, yet, if somebody says 5 minutes, it goes by just like that. Cody, why would you do anything that's like 5 minutes? Like, it's going to be gone for, why drive to the amusement park and get on the roller coaster and go to all that trouble for something that's 5 minutes long? Like why would you go through that? You've already had several 5-minute periods since you've walked in the building tonight. And 5 minutes is not long at all. And you say, you're missing the point. You've never been on the Millennium Force roller coaster. Like, let's get on the roller coaster. When you're on the roller coaster, do you sit on it and you sit down and you get strapped in and you say, oh man, this is going to be over so fast. Like, this is why I can't believe we're doing this. Before we even know it, and then all of a sudden you start going down the hill and you're like, well, it's might as well. It's like, it's going to be over before you know it. Right? What are you doing? You're having a blast. You're screaming and you're yelling and you're laughing and you're going crazy. Unless you're Ben Todd and maybe you're not doing it so crazy. But you're having a great time. My point is, Solomon says, hey, life is like that roller coaster. It's going to be over before you know it. But because it's going to be over before you know it, nobody says, hey, let's just not do it. You're like, no, let's get on this roller coaster and let's make it count. And then Solomon says, it's so crazy in that verse, in chapter 11, he says, you're going to be held into account for how much you enjoyed it. It's like God's going to watch the video of us on the roller coaster and go, hey, what's up? I'm not picking on Ben in the roller coaster, but he'd be like pointing saying, hey, I gave you that. Why did you not enjoy that? Like, don't you realize what was happening in this moment? Oh, yeah, but God, it was over so quick. Or this stage of my life was over so fast. You all don't understand everything we're talking about right now, except seniors. You have a kind of an idea of what we're talking about. But folks in the back of the room, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And Solomon says, hey, God's going to hold you in account, not for all the bad choices you made, not like a judge. He's going to do that as well. But he says, I'm going to hold you in account for whether or not you enjoyed things. It's a commandment to go and to enjoy. But would you look with me at chapter 12? Because as we get ready to land this plane, I got several different points. I hardly ever preach with like 3 points, and I'm just not very good at doing that. You've probably noticed. But I want you to look at Ecclesiastes chapter 12. If you've not zoned in on any other part of this series, just do me a favor. We got about 15 minutes left or so. Let's see how far we can get. And I just want you to really listen to this. I'm going to start at the end of chapter 11. And I'm going to start at verse 9. Let me go to verse 7. Sorry, 7. Everybody with me? If you got it, say got it. Light is sweet, and it pleases the eyes to see the sun. However, many years anyone may live, let them enjoy them all. But let them remember the days of darkness, for there will be many. Everything to come is, I don't want to use the word meaningless because that word is misleading. A better word, not the Hebrew word, hevel, but a better word is what? Fleeting. Hey, they're fleeting. It's a vapor. I'm going to marry my daughter off in just about 17 days. And I've thought a lot about this. These days are fleeting. I find out if I talk about it now, it prepares me for when that's going to happen because nobody thinks I'm going to make it through it. I'm not even sure I'm going to make it through it, but those days are fleeting, and I'm understanding that. You who are young, I think he's talking to some people in here. You who are young, be happy while you are young, and let your heart give you joy in the days of your youth. Follow the ways of your heart, and whatever your eyes see, but know that for all these things God will bring you into judgment. So then, banish anxiety from your heart, and cast off the troubles of your body. For youth and vigor are meaningless. You're like, well, why should I banish anxiety if you're telling me that youth and vigor are meaningless? He's not saying, Well, I'm not going to say what he's not saying. What he's saying is, hey, get on this roller coaster and enjoy it. It's going to last 5 minutes, but enjoy it. Cody doesn't get on the roller coaster and immediately start crying. You're like, Cody, why are you crying? Because this roller coaster ride's going to be over before we know it. You don't do that on a roller coaster. I mean, most people don't do that. You enjoy every second of it. And when it's over, you may say, let's go ride it and do it again. Or you may realize the park is closing and we can't do it again, but you're going to love it. Look at verse 12, chapter 12, verse 1. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth. Now, y'all have heard this before. It's a big passage. This is probably the second most quoted part of Ecclesiastes. Anybody remember what the first most common part is? The part of Ecclesiastes that everybody knows is found where? Way back. What'd you say? Ecclesiastes 3. You may have been saying it, but I can't hear everybody. I apologize. But Garrison said, Ecclesiastes 3. A time for everything. Everybody knows that part. And a lot of people know this. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come and the years approach when you will say, I find no pleasure in them. Now, listen carefully, especially those of us. I say us, because if we were seated by age, I'd be in the back of the room with a lot of you. But we know what it feels like when he says this. Before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars grow dark, and the clouds return after the rain. I think he's poetically speaking about anxiety or depression here. When the keepers of the house tremble. Keepers of the house, not people, but like arms, hands, and feet begin to shake. And the strong men stoop when the grinders cease because they are few. What's he talking about there? Your teeth. The grinders, when your grinders are cease because they are few. And those looking through the windows grow dim. Your eyesight gets worse. When the doors to the street are closed, when you're like, I don't know that I want to go out because I don't feel safe. I just don't want to get out right now. And the sound of grinding fades. When people rise up at the sound of birds, but all of their songs grow faint. When people are afraid of heights and of dangers in the streets. When the almond tree blossoms. Anybody want to take a stab at what that means? I'll just tell you right now, the almond, is a white blossom. Yeah. When your hair starts looking like, so we have some folks that have, the almond tree is blossoming. And for some of us, the almond tree is beginning to shed. And the grasshopper drags itself along, and desire no longer is stirred. Go home and ask your parents what verse 5 means. Then people go to their eternal home, and mourners go about the streets, and you're like, oh, here we go. This is really getting depressing again. Remember him before the silver cord is severed. Best we know, you'd have a bowl with your oil in it with a candle or a wick and light, and it's hanging with a cord, and it's hanging up like a lantern at if you're on a camp out. And if one of those cords breaks and the bowl tips over and all the oil falls out, guess what you don't have anymore? You don't have light. And so he says, hey, remember him before the silver cord is severed and the golden bowl is broken, before the pitcher is shattered at the spring and the wheel broken at the well, and the dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Everything is meaningless. Now, you're like, wow. Especially when you start getting a little older. Now, as Isaac or whoever pointed out, yes, I am getting older. I'm not afraid to talk about it. My point in telling you my age is not to tell you my age. My point is always to say some of these things that you struggle with don't stop when you're 18. Some of you the other night gave me a very nice picture signed by several actors from the Star Wars movies, and I was overwhelmed by your kindness in that picture that you gave me. And one of them was Richard Marquand, who was the writer of Return of the Jedi. And somebody, I sent the picture, I've sent it to several people to say, look at this incredible gift. And somebody wrote and they said, oh, wow, fun fact that you probably didn't know, Richard Marquand was the writer of Return of the Jedi, and he died 3 weeks before his 50th birthday. And I said, yeah, thanks for sharing that. I'll remember that when I turn 50 in 3 weeks. To which he wrote me back and he said, oh, my bad. I'm sure you'll do better. I'm sure you'll do better. So if I'm still here, I did better than the guy that wrote Return of the Jedi. But I'll just tell you, you're not thinking about these things right now. But what does Solomon say to do, somebody? It's a very obvious answer. Think about these things right now. And it's hard to do that. Because you're on a roller coaster. You're like, I don't have time to think about this stuff. But look what he says. He doesn't end right there. As a matter of fact, the one author ends right there, but look at verse 9. Now we go back to the narrator from the very beginning. And he says, not only was the teacher wise, but he also imparted knowledge to the people. He pondered and searched. Would you say those words with me? Pondered and searched. Say them again. All right, now look, listen. Hear me. We didn't get to some of the big illustrations that I wanted to do, which means that this is better because it either means one, something here was more important. Two, it may mean I just spent time on something I shouldn't have, which is always a likelihood. But it could mean that somebody that's not here tonight really needed to be here to hear something that we're going to talk about next week. There's always room for that. But I want to make sure you all understand this. It does not say that he showed up at almost every True North and listened. It does not say he was at church every Sunday morning and paid attention during the sermon. It doesn't say he took notes during True North. All those things are great, by the way, and most people don't even do those. But what does it say he did? 2 words. 3 words. He pondered and searched. He thought about it. Now, why doesn't it say for me, it would say he searched and he pondered. That's the way I'd word it. He searched and then he pondered. It could just be that it's an English thing that maybe I'm not getting. But I like the order here. He pondered and then he searched. He thought about what are the things that I really need to know. And then he went about looking for them. And said, let me try to figure this out. All right. Let's keep going because we're almost done. And he set in order many proverbs. The teacher searched to find just the right words, and what he wrote was upright and true. Look at verse 11. The words of the wise are like, what's the word, somebody? Goads, if you have one translation. The words of the wise are like goads. Their collected sayings like firmly embedded nails given by one shepherd. Be warned, my son, of anything in addition to them. We're almost done with the text. So listen carefully. He says, these words are like goads. You may know what a goad is. Somebody over here, give me your best. What do you think a goad is? Have you ever heard somebody talking about goading somebody on? They goaded him on. Somebody, what's a goad? You may know what it's used for. Okay, I thought somebody might know. A goad is like a long stick, like a spear that you would use to prod cattle or sheep or something, and try to move them in one direction. And it's normally meant to kind of hurt a little bit, not to kill you, not like to stab a cow, but to just say, hey, go that way, to goad somebody on. Come on, come on, come on. He says these words are like goads, but then listen carefully. He says these words are like firmly embedded nails. Oh, now wait a minute. Listen, this is a great image that some of you need to hear. Because you think of firmly embedded nails, you think maybe, punishment, or maybe you think, because if it's Bible and you talk about firmly embedded nails, you're thinking crucifixion. I don't think he's talking about crucifixion here. Can anybody else, big question here, Chandler's answered the hardest question tonight, maybe you can get this one too. Can anybody here think of a time when you might have to use a firmly embedded nail? You're not hanging up something. When might you need a firmly embedded nail? Yes. Okay. Yes. You went there. No. Yeah. A coffin is what he said. That's true. That's not what I'm talking about. Yes, Caroline. Okay, you're getting closer, and you're right, by the way, but I mean, your answer's right. Building a house, you need a firmly embedded nail. Because if your nail's not firmly embedded, what's going to happen? The house is going to fall down. Caroline, when are you thankful that you have a house? Listen carefully. This is a progression that you got to hear before we wrap up tonight. When are you thankful you have a house? When it storms outside. When are you thankful you have a house? Another time. When it snows. Is there another time you're thankful you got a house? Okay. When I'm tired of being with people. When I'm tired of answering questions, I can leave and go home to my house and not be at True North anymore and get called out. All right. So a house. Can anybody else? The word is actually a peg. Instead of a nail, it's more like a peg. Can you think of a time, Leah? Okay, now, yeah, we talked, yeah, there may be some connection to that. I mean, this is obviously written before that. We talk about firmly embedded nails, but I'm talking about in a real life application, yeah. Okay, to hold something together. Did you have one?
To hold something together such that it does not move itself. You don't put in and take out.
Okay, when would you use a peg? Think of the word peg. Somebody said it. Who said it? Okay, what did you say? A tent peg. What do you do with a tent peg? You nail it in the ground, and you put the peg, and what's tied to the peg? A rope, and a rope is holding the tent. It's going to keep the tent from blowing away or from falling over. It's going to hold the tent up. Listen carefully, everybody. You may be like, I don't know why we're talking about this, and maybe I'm getting more excited than I should be. I just want you to understand, which is always the case, but I want you to understand. Solomon says, hey, you guys that are trying to put up a tent, first of all, you're camping here. This isn't your home. Don't get used to living here. But while you're here, you want to be safe when it rains, you want to be somewhere warm when it's cold, and you want to have a place to go when it's dark, and you want a place to go if it's snowing. And he says you want to be in the tent and be safe in the tent. And so guess what he says? You need to have firmly embedded pegs to hold that tent secure. And he says, everything I've said in this book, the words of the wise, they're like goads. Sometimes they say, Cody, come on, Cody, come on, come on. Now, Cody, real talk and not meaning to put you on the spot, you have to answer. Has there ever been people in your life that needed to goad you on with words? Yeah. But by the way, if I'd asked that question of any other human being in the room, they would have said yes. Otherwise, they would have been lying. If they said no, I would have given them some words to goad them on, which are words like, you need to be less arrogant. But Cody, you've also needed some words that have said, hey, I know your mom and dad. So your mom and dad, they say words that put a tent around you, don't they? They're like, Cody, the world's going to do this and do this and do this. But Cody, we think you're super talented. And wise words are like a tent. They're like firmly embedded pegs that says, hey, there's a storm, Caroline, but you're in the tent and it's not going anywhere. Some of you, the reason you have anxiety and depression is because you have tried to be somewhere where there are no firmly embedded pegs. And when the storm hits, there's no reason, it's no surprise that you get scared. Because you're like, I don't know where to go or what to do. And so then he says this. Be warned, my son, of anything in addition to them, of making many books there is no end, and much study wearies the body. Now, if some of you have never taken notes at Ever True North, you're going to write that verse down and take it to your mom and dad and go, look what we just learned. Mom, Skid said, of making many books there is no end, of much study wearies the body. That is a bad thing. I think he said it was a bad thing. I shouldn't do it. So I'm not studying for finals anymore. That's not what that means. Now look at verse 13. Well, you know what? It's time for us to stop. Because verse 13 is when he says, now that everything has been heard, he says, I've got this awesome, beautiful, glittery backpack. Next week, I'll find one of our ladies who is willing to be the person that's going to represent every... You raising your hand, Caroline? You're willing to do it? Okay. The next week. Do what? Oh, yeah, you get to wear the backpack. Okay. Hey, next week, Caroline's going to pack this bag with everything that we've learned from Ecclesiastes. And then we'll be able to finish that, and we'll begin to wrap up the semester and get ready for things. Because there's like 4 really huge ideas next week. Not being here next week is kind of like watching the whole movie of Endgame. And when Captain America and Iron Man and Thor are there, with Thanos, and they feel like we just can't do this. It'd be like Caroline getting up going, that's it. I can't handle this. I'm out of here. And she leaves. And you want to go, wait. Because I've already seen the movie. And you've got to see what happens next. She's like, no, it's over. It's meaningless. They're done. You realize how powerful Thanos is? They're done. You're like, no. You just got to stick through to the end. So we're going to land the plane. Caroline will pack this backpack next week. And then we'll be done with that. Let's pray. God, I thank you for the way these students engage in your word, and they ponder and they search. They don't just listen. Many of them, they just really ponder and search, and they will be rewarded for it, and it might be 30 years down the line before that reward really comes. But God, thank you that they are remembering you. By being here tonight, they remember you when they are young. And it's an investment that they're making now that will pay off way down the road. They have no idea, no way of knowing how the small deposit they put in the bank over time is just going to yield a massive treasure one day. But I thank you that they're here, and we look forward to another time of being able to finish this next week. Keep us safe. God, we thank you that you brought Vicki back to us safely, and we ask for her continued recovery. We pray for the Bagwells. We pray for the Sandlin family. I thank you for Ms. Sharon and Curry and others who are in the room praying for our students even now. And so, God, leave with us as we leave from this place, and we look forward to finishing this long but hopefully fruitful series next week. It's through the name of your Son, Jesus, that we pray, and we all say together, amen. All right. God bless you guys. We'll finish up next week.